The ballroom shimmered with soft gold light, crystal chandeliers scattering reflections across marble floors polished to a mirror finish. The city's elite filled the room in tailored suits and silk gowns, voices rising and falling in practiced confidence. It was the kind of evening where deals were whispered over champagne flutes and smiles were measured like currency. At the edge of it all stood Mara Hale, quiet and composed, wearing a simple navy dress that blended into the elegance without demanding attention. Mara had arrived alone and early, not to be seen but to observe. She moved with the careful grace of someone used to being underestimated. A server offered her a glass of sparkling water, and she accepted with a nod, taking a place near a marble column where she could watch the room without being drawn into it. The gala honored innovation and philanthropy, but everyone knew the real purpose. A handful of titans were here to finalize partnerships worth hundreds of millions. Across the room, Carter Vaughn laughed loudly, surrounded by admirers who leaned in as if his words were gifts. He was young, rich, and famous for turning every conversation into a performance. His suit was immaculate, his grin sharp. Carter had built a reputation on bold moves and louder opinions, and tonight he was riding a wave of attention. His company, Vaughn Global, was rumored to be closing a massive acquisition, one that would reshape the market. Mara noticed him because he noticed her. His eyes flicked toward her quiet corner, pausing as if puzzled by her presence. She didn't look like the others, no entourage, no glittering jewels, no obvious hunger for attention. Something about that seemed to amuse him. Carter excused himself from his circle and crossed the floor, a glass of red wine in his hand. "Did we miss the memo?" he said, stopping a little too close. "Is minimalism the new black?" Mara met his gaze calmly. "I think confidence wears many colors." He laughed, a sharp sound. "Cute. Are you with the catering team, or did you wander in from a meditation retreat?" A few nearby guests glanced over, curiosity brightening their faces. Mara felt the familiar tightening that came with public scrutiny, but she breathed through it. "I'm a guest," she replied simply. "Ah," Carter said, swirling his wine. "Then you must know someone important." "I know what matters," Mara said. "That's usually enough." His smile thinned. He looked her over again, slower this time, as if searching for something to mock. "Well, here's a tip," he said, raising his glass. "If you're going to blend into the wallpaper, at least pick a nicer wall." Before she could step back, he tipped the glass. Red wine splashed across her dress, darkening the fabric, dripping toward the marble floor. A collective gasp rippled through the nearby crowd. Carter burst into laughter, loud and unapologetic. "Oh no," he said, mock concern dripping from his voice. "Clumsy me. Guess that dress won't be blending anymore." For a heartbeat, the room seemed to freeze. Mara felt the warmth of the wine, the sting of humiliation, the eyes pressing in. She could hear her pulse in her ears. Old instincts whispered to disappear, to apologize, to make herself smaller. She ignored them. She looked down at the stain, then back up at Carter. "It's only wine," she said evenly. "It washes out." Her calm seemed to disappoint him. He scoffed. "Relax, it's a joke. Lighten up." A woman nearby frowned. Someone else murmured. Carter shrugged, already turning away, satisfied with his spectacle. Mara reached into her clutch and took out her phone. She didn't rush. She didn't shake. She tapped once, then again, scrolling with deliberate care. Carter noticed the shift in the room before he noticed her. Conversations had gone quiet, replaced by the soft click of heels as people repositioned to watch. He turned back, irritation flaring. "What now? You going to post about it?" "No," Mara said. "I'm canceling a meeting." His brow creased. "A meeting?" She looked up, meeting his eyes. "Yes. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. A man standing just behind Carter inhaled sharply. It was Daniel Reeve, Carter's chief operations officer, who had been scanning the room all night with professional vigilance. "Mara," he said quietly, stepping forward. "Is everything all right?" Carter blinked. "You know her." Daniel's face had gone pale. "Carter," he said, choosing his words carefully, "this is Mara Hale." Carter laughed, but it came out uncertain. "Okay, and she's the majority partner of Hale Meridian," Daniel said. "The firm underwriting the acquisition." The air seemed to drain from Carter's lungs. He stared at Mara, then at Daniel, then back at Mara. That's not funny." "I agree," Mara said. She slipped her phone back into her clutch. I don't find it funny at all. Around them, whispers spread like wildfire. Names were exchanged, reputations recalculated. Hale Meridian was known for moving quietly and decisively, backing projects with long-term vision rather than flash. The $550 million deal Carter had been boasting about all evening hinged on their support. Carter's confidence cracked. Look, he said quickly, lowering his voice. I didn't realize. It was a misunderstanding. You didn't misunderstand, Mara said. You chose. He swallowed. I can apologize. You can, she said. But apologies don't reverse choices. Daniel leaned in. Mara, please, we can step somewhere private. There's no need, Mara said. Transparency saves time. Carter felt eyes on him now, not admiring but assessing. He straightened his jacket, grasping for control. You're really going to blow up a deal over a joke? She tilted her head. This deal was built on trust. On respect. On the belief that partners treat people with dignity, especially when they think no one important is watching. He scoffed weakly. Come on. It's business. It is, Mara agreed. That's why character matters. She took a step closer, lowering her voice just enough that only those nearest could hear. You poured wine on me because you thought I was small. That tells me how you'll treat employees, communities, and partners when pressure rises. Carter's jaw tightened. You're overreacting. Am I? She asked. Then this should be easy. She raised her phone again and tapped once more. A message sent. Somewhere. Calendars shifted, legal teams paused, and momentum slowed. Daniel exhaled. The meeting. Cancelled, Mara said, indefinitely. A hush fell over the room. Carter felt heat crawl up his neck. You can't do this, he said, too loudly. You don't make decisions alone. I do, she said calmly. That's how the partnership is structured. He searched her face for doubt and found none. Panic flickered. Name your price, he said. We can renegotiate. This isn't about money, Mara replied. It's about alignment. She glanced at her dress, now marked but no longer defining the moment. I'll excuse myself. As she turned to leave, a path opened. People stepped aside, some offering quiet apologies, others nodding with newfound respect. A server hurried over with napkins, but she waved them off with a small smile. Behind her, Carter stood frozen, the laughter from earlier echoing cruelly in his memory. Daniel murmured something urgent, but Carter barely heard it. The room felt different now, less forgiving, less impressed. In the lobby, the cool air steadied Mara's breathing. She paused by a tall window overlooking the city, lights stretching like constellations below. For a moment, the weight of the evening pressed in. Then it lifted. Her phone buzzed. A message from her assistant confirmed what she already knew. The cancellation had landed. The ripple effect would be immediate. Other partners would ask questions. Due diligence would deepen. Standards would rise. Mara typed a brief reply and slipped the phone away. She caught her reflection in the glass, wine-stained, composed, unmistakably herself. Back in the ballroom, conversations resumed, but the tone had shifted. The story would travel fast, stripped of embellishment. A quiet woman had been mocked, and the mockery had cost $500 million. Some would call it arrogance. Others would call it accountability. Mara stepped out into the night, the door closing softly behind her. She didn't look back.